Strong Toyota, leading the way every day. And strong Toyota, symbols of trust.
Why do they now have to have 2 lawyers and another research team behind them, actually a research team behind each of those lawyers, who is costing us a lot of money, now tell them how to run a hearing if they've already run 4 of them?
A Guam Board of Allied Health Examiners meeting today seemed full of confusion over how to proceed with a summary suspension of Dr. Joseph's license. Perhaps it was because of conflicting advice being offered to them by 2 separate Assistant Attorneys General, Robert Weinberg and Ben Abrams. The summary suspension is a last-ditch effort that could effectively close WISEOWL Animal Hospital for good. It was filed by Abrams last week, but it's not just any kind of suspension. Before the board can vote on this, they must first consider whether the charges against him are heavy enough to deem him an imminent threat to the public safety and welfare of society.
This board, if it sees fit, if it sees that his continued use of that license represents imminent harm to the community, can not only summarily suspend, but has a duty to do so.
I don't want to get in a legal debate with Mr. Abrams in front of you all, okay? But I will say that I disagree with his interpretation of the administrative adjudication law. So my advice to you is that we proceed slowly and methodically. The alternative here is that if you are to engage in a consideration of a summary suspension, we're going to be here all night, because due process requires that since Dr. Joseph is here and his counsel is here, that they would have a right to be heard and to respond to the various allegations in the charges.
Instead, Weinberg advised the board to schedule a special meeting pursuant to the open government law to discuss the charges in the summary suspension.
That can be done today, provided we have the time, and everything Mr. Weinberg talks about can be achieved today. We can hear from Dr. Joseph, although there's not a specific requirement under Title 10, which talks about summary suspension, and there's no specific requirement on that in the AAL. Mr. Weinberg hasn't cited any.
In all, there are 16 charges ranging from use of false names or titles to fraud and deceit, verbal assaults and slander against board members, importation and possession of controlled substances without valid registration, fraudulent cremations, and negligent practice, among other charges. While Assistant AG Weinberg gave the board legal advice, even he questioned the legitimacy of imminent threat.
That is why what I suggest is that we schedule a special meeting, notice it properly, publish it properly, at which time we can go through this paragraph by paragraph, because I have questions on the substance of it. I have questions about some of the underlying facts.
Abrams, however, urged the board to act quickly on the matter.
If you believe, as of now, that based on the first amended specification of charges, that this animal doctor represents an imminent threat to the Guam community, you have a duty to sign that summary suspension order today.
The board later took the advice of Weinberg, noting that they want to exercise caution in every step of this proceeding. The board has previously attempted to suspend Dr. Joseph's license, but as Dr. Joseph points out, in each case, their decisions were reversed by the Superior Court. However, in this instance, if the board approves a summary suspension, the Superior Court will not be able to reverse that decision.
Attorney Abrams, is it true if the summary suspension is voted upon that a judge cannot reverse it?
That's true. The section that we cited in drafting the order of summary suspension provides that no court can lift or interfere with it. So it's a very significant action, and it's an action that, when properly taken, can't be disturbed by the court.
Those are the operative words: imminent threat to public health and safety.